Yo, did you know that Gap accidentally spent $30 million on a Fubu commercial? Let's talk about it. Hey, what up, y'all? My name is God Body Science, and this is Beats and Billboards, where I'll talk about two passions of mine, advertising and hip hop, and how they came together to make dope moments for the culture. So yeah, Gap accidentally spent $30 million on a Fubu commercial. The story pretty much goes like this. Pretty much in the late 90s, Gap was trying to figure out how they could reach black consumers, and like most brands, of course, they reach out to hip hop to make that happen. So they racked their brains trying to figure out who they could work with, and they landed on LL Cool J. Now we all know LL was the man. The ladies loved him. He had the bars, he had the beats, he was on point. So they said, cool, let's reach out to him. Let's get him to do a campaign for us. You know, it'll do mega sales. It'll be great, right? So they reach out to LL. LL thinks nothing of it. He's like, yeah, cool, another bag for me to pick up. I'll do it. So boom, LL gets to the studio that day, or he gets to the creative shoot, let's call it. And when he hops on set, you know, nobody notices, but he has this white cap on, right? And the white cap, if you pay attention, has an FB logo on it. All right, no harm, no foul. Anyway, my boy goes in there, he does the commercial, he spits a freestyle. And if you listen to the freestyle, he says, for us, by us, on the low in the freestyle.
Jeans popping in every mall in town, the city. GAP, gritty, ready to go. For us, by us, on the low. For us, by us, on the low. For us, by us, on the low. For us, by us, on the low.
So naturally, nobody caught this mistake. Nobody realized that he was shouting out Fubu the entire time during the commercial. So what ends up happening? Gap puts the commercial into the market. And of course, you gotta love it. Our people go up to Gap and they're like, hey, where the Fubu at? But Gap doesn't sell Fubu. At this time, they really don't even know what Fubu is. You know, Damon John had just started the company with his co-founders a couple of years earlier. At one point, they were on the brink of bankruptcy until his mom put an ad in the paper saying that, you know, Damon John had $1 million in orders, but he needed financing, and that saved the company. So Gap didn't even pay attention to the culture like that. And as a result, this commercial ended up hitting the market. And after a few weeks, because of the embarrassment and all that, they pulled the commercial. Eventually, they ended up putting it back into play. But yeah, this is another lesson of kind of what happens when you don't have people who are in the culture in the room. You know, somebody should have been there to catch that, but they didn't. And honestly, it was a dope moment for everybody in the culture. April Walker did an interview on Drink Champs a long time ago where she talks about how this was a really pivotal moment for designers because, you know, it just showed how far black brands could really reach into the market. So with that said, $30 million mistake for Gap, but there is a lesson here. Co-branding does work. We have seen that Gap in the past couple of years has done more co-branding efforts. They've reached out to Dapper Dan and did the DAP collection. They worked with Kanye West and did Yeezy Gap, and then they worked with Balenciaga and Yeezy at the same time. So all that to say, even though this was a mistake for them back in the 90s, in the 2000s, the 2010s, the 2020s that we're in now, it's not really that much of a mistake. It's actually kind of a dope moment. What I would have told the team back then was, okay, cool, you aired this commercial. Now y'all need to reach out to Damon John and y'all need to do a Fubu Gap collaboration. Gap by Fubu or Fubu by Gap, right? I'm telling you, the streets would have went nuts. They would have made a ton of money. And the last point, just because I'm thinking of it, is that earned media value that went to Fubu, man, it could have just been flipped into so much more. It could have been a long-standing partnership. But, you know, we're not going to stay in the lands of if-thens. It is what it is. And like I said, this is Beats and Billboards. I'm the homie God Body Science. I will catch y'all next time. Peace.